What's going on, guys? This is Empty Box, and this is GT Legends, which, time out. Can I just go ahead and say that intro has held up surprisingly well? You know, besides the video quality issues and resolution issues that come with the fact that the game is a decade old. Yes. Seems like just yesterday this game was released. But anyways, GT Legends is a racing simulation from Simbin. This was coming off the heels of GTR 1, right before GTR 2, so essentially in that trio of golden greatness that was Simbin in its prime heyday. Man, those days were so good. But this title features the cars of the historic FIA Touring Car and GT Championships, featuring cars from the 60s through the 70s, from touring cars to GT cars. You know, you got your little minis, you got your Ford GTs, you got your Ford Mustangs, your Lotus Cortinas, your Ford Escorts, your Capris, your 906, your 911, your 914, you got your 3.0 CSL, you got you everything, all you need. Come on down to GT Legends, which if you are interested in playing GT Legends, you can actually go ahead and pick up a copy on Steam, or you could reinstall the game, but back in the day, this game came with horrendous copy protection. Anybody remember Star Force? Anybody? Yeah, there's a name from the past we're glad to not hear again. But the one thing that made this game unique, and sort of the catalyst for doing this and putting this on this channel, is the fact that this game had progression to it. It had a career mode, essentially, where you started at the bottom driving the minis, working your way up to the faster and faster and faster cars until you finally got into the full-fledged championship modes, which at the time was somewhat controversial, and basically everybody cheated, myself included. And I just kind of realized, you know, I never actually properly beat GT Legends, like properly, without cheating. So I probably should do that. And this would kind of fit here on the YouTube, so why not? Let's go ahead and do that. Seems like a mighty fine plan to me. Mighty pine flan. But in case you're wondering, the steering wheel in-game is going to be turned off. I'm using 500 degrees of rotation. I'll put the force feedback settings that I'm using down below. And yeah, let us begin. Let's just get into a race. Let's just go ahead, man. As you can see, there's a structure here going on. You start at the bottom, you work your way down, which you actually work your way up. And for each championship that you complete, you're awarded a trophy, depending on your difficulty, which we'll talk about that here in a moment. We're going to start with the minis, because who doesn't like the minis? I mean, they're minis. But we get one car available, one car that we own, which is this ugly orange thing that's just yeah. We can also take a closer look if we wish to inspect our mini. It's miniature. So anyways, let's go ahead and get into the difficulty selection. I will try and keep the difficulty turned all the way up. Sometimes it doesn't really make sense because you're racing cars that are in a faster class and should be clearly faster, so it's stupid. But for the most part, we'll try to keep it turned up. I am running no assists anyways. The different difficulty levels just allow you to run more assists if you so choose. So let us begin with the mini battle of the mini, whatever it's called. Alrighty, we've gone ahead and qualified in third position here for our first race. It's one of the shorter Mondello Park layouts. Mondello Park, a track that really sees very little exposure in sim racing other than GT Legends, which is kind of a shame because it is pretty a neat little track. Well, we got a 5-lap race. Racing against the AI, of course. So you already saw the setup of this race. And hopefully now we'll just rocket off into the distance and they'll dominate, which is not how all these races are going to go. In fact, it'll probably be just this one that goes that way, because the next round is at Anderstorp, and the AI is stupid fast around there. Or else I really suck. Could be one or the other. Probably both. But as I mentioned previously, we're running no assists, no auto clutch, or any of that stuff. Heel toe down shifting, H pattern shifting. Classic, you know. Classic driving style for classic cars. Who would have thought? as I mentioned earlier, although I should mention again for those of you guys who skipped ahead straight to the racing action, I can't display the steering wheel in-game because it is a Simbin title. They've gone ahead and added their own arm animation to it, which means that it's stuck at 270 degrees of rotation, which when you're using a 500 degree steering rotation, you really don't want to see a steering wheel that's not moving in front of you. Generally in my videos I like to keep the in-game steering wheel on just so that way you have more of an indication of what's actually happening in the car at that point, but sadly it can't really happen here. I know some people will say turn the degrees of the steering lock down and run 270 on the wheel, but when you're talking about these historic cars, you're gonna get sideways at one point or another, and well, dealing with super extraordinarily twitchy steering here in 2016 is not really my thing. So I apologize for that because it is something I do like to avoid doing. Personally, I do prefer having the steering wheel not visible as it is here, but I do understand that it does kind of make things a little bit weird to watch it on sometimes, but hey, compromises must be made. So we're just flinging this little mini around here. I want to see if I can get into the 39s. I know I can get into the 39s, it's just a matter of doing it. Already way ahead. Just kind of what I expected. It's actually a really fun little layout for the Mini. Just kind of fling it all over the place. Get that little oversteer under braking there. Instability. Oh, 40.086. No! Just short. Just short. But we won the race, which is all that really matters. Because that's all that matters. I mean, yeah, simple as that. So let's wait for the thing to go ahead. Let's check the fast lap times. See, still fastest by 8/10. Smoked them. No problem. Didn't even need to run a 39. Wanted to. I could have, but I was holding back a little. I was sandbagging. So, anyways, on to the next race. Okay, now for round 2 of the Battle of the Mini here at Anderstorp South Circuit. Somehow managed to qualify in 3rd position, which is pretty surprising. Like, I know I qualified 3rd in the last round, but I knew I was going to win this race. Here, I've either always struggled in the Mini or alternatively, the AI is stupid fast here. It's one or the other, but yeah, pretty surprised to be up this far. Find the lights, pretty obvious. Got the headlights turned on. Now one thing with the career mode, cup mode, whatever you want to call it technically, they do throw you into a variety of different scenarios. Yeah, here we randomly got a night race, just straight up out of the blue, more or less. That definitely takes some guts as a programmer, apparently, because throwing the player into a night race in the second race that they're likely to do, that definitely is not the norm. But then again, if you got the goods, might as well go ahead and show them off, right? Now with the win last race at Mondella Park, should be a pretty favorable position in the championship. But what would put us in an even better position would be winning this race and sweeping the challenge. Although, again, the AI is like, stupid fast around here. And I suck here. I'm just being totally honest. Yeah, fling that in there Mini style. Now another thing to note is these are historic cars with basically updates to bring them into the FIA Historic Championship. So the whole discussion back in the day was, what in the world are these cars, and why do they have so much more grip in theory than what we all commonly associate with historic race cars. And really it came down to the fact that these cars are on modern historic tires rather than truly historic tires like I think we all associate them with. Whereas, for example, the Power and Glory mod or historic GT and touring cars that I referenced earlier is more so these cars with the historic, I guess you'd say, proper tires. I think we nudge nudge on them. But one thing I really liked with GT Legends is just how much diversity there is. It's crazy. Like I said, the second race out, they throw you into a night race just because they can, which is just totally awesome. But you have all these smaller circuits where they actually use the alternate layouts. Typically in racing games, the alternate layout is something that you use like the first 4 races and then you never see them again, whereas here they kind of actually matter. You actually get used to them, you actually learn them, and I appreciate the diversity. We did gain a little bit more in that lap, although we do got a guy right on our tail there in our mirror. Oh, he's going way slow now. I'm not even joking. This is like way good for me. Now I will try and, if at all possible, to not race like a total douche just because they're AI, because I do think that kind of takes the fun out of it. Now that said, if it comes down to winning or losing, you know what we're doing. So don't judge me when it happens, because it will happen at some point. Guarantee it. I don't have a clue how many laps left. I think we either got 1 to go or this is the final lap, so either way, let's do our best to make sure we lead this one. Just in case, you know? Well, the second position after the win at Mondello should be enough to secure the championship. Can't remember if the player wins in a tie or if they lose in the tie. We may find out sooner rather than later. Once this blue guy sends one up the inside like he was thinking. Yep, that's the final lap. Final race of the first series, as what I was saying. That's what I was saying. That's a top drive by anyone's standards. Except for the fact we finished second, so it's not really a top drive, it's a second to top drive. Yeah. Yeah. And as you can see, slowest lap of the race. Yeah. Yay! I am the champion! I am the champion of the world of minis. For the 6 people who raced minis in this series. So I'm champion of the world, but hey, I got a diamond cup. And I'm not talking about a nut cup, I'm talking about a trophy. Yeah, $30,000, that'd go a bit of a long way. A bit. Maybe.